Welcome. Thank you for joining me for a story today. Our story is called Tea Parties and Mudballs. It was late afternoon in the enchanted forest. Everything was drying out after a refreshing spring shower, and two fairies, Reginald and Buttercup, were sitting down to have a tea party. They sat at a little table in a clearing, set off from the rest of the forest by a surrounding circle of bushes. Buttercup laid out the delicate little china plates and the little tiny porcelain teacups, because fairies are very small, you know. And Reginald began to pour. "Isn't it a nice day for a tea party?" said Reginald. "Oh, I suppose," said Buttercup. "You suppose?" said Reginald. "What's wrong?" "I don't know," said Buttercup. "We have a lot of tea parties, don't we?" "We're woodland fairies," said Reginald. "Tea parties in the enchanted woods is what we do. That and flitting about on our delicate fairy wings." "I suppose," said Buttercup, sighing and sipping his tea. Just then, from over the row of bushes, came the sound of a loud, deep chanting. "Mudball! Mudball! Mudball!" Reginald and Buttercup peeked over the bushes. A family of giant trolls was wrestling around in a large mud puddle on the forest floor. They were covered from head to toe in mud. "Mudball! Mudball!" they laughed and roared. "Ugh, trolls," said Reginald. "Never mind them." He lifted his cup of tea to sip it delicately. Just then, a giant ball of mud came soaring up over the row of bushes and landed in the middle of their table. Splat! Teacups went flying. Reginald and Buttercup went flying. They were covered from head to toe in mud. Angry, Reginald shook the mud off of his delicate fairy wings and flitted above the bushes. The trolls were hauling up great handfuls of mud and shaping them into balls and hurling them at each other. "Mudball! Mudball!" with great shouts and laughs. "Hey," said Reginald, "what do you mean throwing around mud like that? Watch what you're doing." The trolls stopped throwing mud and looked at Reginald. Buttercup peeked up over the bushes too. "We're trying to have a tea party over here," said Reginald, wagging his finger. "You trolls are mucking up the whole forest." "Sorry," said the trolls. "Be more careful now." "I should hope so," said Reginald. Back on their side of the bushes, Reginald waved his fairy wand with a cleaning spell to clear away the mud and restore the table and dishes. "Well, I'm glad that's over," he said, sipping at his delicate teacup. But Buttercup looked longingly over at the bushes. Just then, from over the bushes came shouts and laughter. "Mudball! Mudball! Mudball!" They could hear the splats and splashes of mud flying around. Before too long, a great big ball of mud came sailing up over the bushes again and landed splat in the middle of their table, and the teacups and the fairies went flying again. Reginald made a sound like and flitted over the bushes. "We're trying to have a tea party over here." But just then, beside him, he heard Buttercup yell, "Mudball! Mudball!" And Buttercup scooped up some dirt in his tiny little fairy hands and made a tiny little mudball and threw it at the trolls. The trolls laughed and cheered. "Mudball! Mudball!" They all began flinging mud ferociously, including Buttercup, who flitted about between them, flinging mud and laughing. Reginald sighed, flew back over to his side of the hedge. He waved his wand with the cleaning spell and moved the table and tea several feet away from the row of hedges so he wouldn't get hit with any more flying mud. He sipped his tea by himself, listening to the shouts and splats from the other side of the bushes. "Tea party?" he heard a deep voice say. Reginald looked over to see a troll shyly peeking over the bushes. "Tea party?" it said. Would you like to join me?" Reginald asked. "Tea party," said the troll, hopping over the bushes. Reginald waved his wand, and in a flash the troll was decked out from head to toe in a fancy tuxedo with a cane and a very fancy top hat. "Fancy," said the troll with delight. It sat down precariously, nearly crushing the tiny little fairy chair, and picked up the weensy fairy cup between his huge troll fingers and sipped tea. "Tea party," said the troll contentedly. And so for the rest of the summer, Reginald and the troll had their tea party, and Buttercup and the other trolls played Mudball, and everyone had a good time. Sometimes at the end of the day they came together and they roasted marshmallows together. Buttercup went to tea parties sometimes, and Reginald never played Mudball, not even one time, and that was okay. That is the story of tea parties and Mudballs. Thank you for sharing it with me today. I hope you have a beautiful day.